Hello again, guys, and welcome back to another episode of American Outback. And while my worker is weeding away on field 20, I've just got the overview map up so I can see what crops I've got coming in. I've got 2 fields of barley and this giant field of sunflowers to come. Now, we do have some crops, but we don't have huge amounts of anything at the moment. So rather than selling low volumes and just pushing the price down, we're going to hang on to those crops. And the best course of action, I think, to be able to increase our income effectively is to buy field 6. So that's 250 odd thousand, which we don't have. So what we're going to do this episode is, as soon as this field is done, we're going to get the weeder going on here with a worker, and we're going to run some contract work on field 6. Now, I have sped time up just a touch to 5 times, rather than leaving it on real time, just to help increase the growth speed of our crops a little bit. In fact, CSZ is on sale for 30 hours. Let's see how big the sale is. 15%. Oh, and that's on sale. We were talking about that last episode. That is currently on sale. It's still too expensive, but we are going to need one of those. And if we save 5% on it, might be worth selling something. Actually, no, we'll do some contract work and then we'll buy it, because we have 30 grand in our bank still. But let's have a look at the rest of these tools, see if there's anything here that we could actually use. It's a 4,000 litre bucket, but that's for beets. Multi-purpose bucket, 4,000 litres. I don't think we're really going to need that. I mean, the one we've got will deal with everything that we need it to. It'll deal with grass, because we have this, the multi-purpose fork, which deals with grass and hay and manure, and also deals with chaff as well. And does it deal with silage? Doesn't have it listed, but it should. Now it says we can also do bales as well. I'm guessing we can do that by clamping on the bales the same way we did on Fent Farm, using the claw attachment on that bucket. Okay, so let's take over from our worker. We'll finish this field off. We'll get him started on field 119. And then we'll go and do some contract work. And then we'll buy that slurry tanker. We may as well take advantage of that sale while it's there, because we need one of those going forward. And we'll need the slurry tanker before we need everything else that goes with it. Yeah, we can utilise that slurry tanker straight away. We do have slurry being produced. So that's some free fertiliser instead of spreading or spraying right from the very off. And we have enough for at least 1 tank, nearly 2 tanks. And by the time we've got it and we go to use it, we'll have 2 tanks worth. So that'll do, a couple of fields. Or at the very least, it'll do this field on its own in total, with a refill. And we can use it before we even need to buy the whole Matera variant. So we'll do that. That's our plan of action for this episode. Do some contract work, buy that slurry tanker. We have our mission. And we do choose to accept it. This is such an awesome tractor. I wish more tractors actually had the option for dual care wheels like this. There are only a couple of tractors out there that do have it. One is the Magnum, which is the next case up. that can go with this wheel configuration as well. And the only other one I can think of off the top of my head that has dual care wheels, apart from the Terra variant, which can also do that, is the tiny little Lindner lint track. That tiny, tiny, tiny little tractor that is so small and weak and powerless that it doesn't really serve much purpose on any farm. Certainly not on this one, where we need big equipment. In fact, I think it's barely got enough power to actually run the weeder. But, right, so he's off. He's doing what he needs to do. So let's start doing some contract work. First up, we have a nice little fertilizer mission. Let's use something a little bit different. Let's use the terrace. We haven't used that for a very long time. Well, I haven't used this for a very long time. I don't think I've ever used it on one of my Let's Plays. Contract work or otherwise. It's weird, really. The Stayer brand is one that I haven't really considered using on any of my farms. But maybe if I end up doing a sort of a mainland European farm, I could combine Stayer with Deutz-Fahr and maybe utilise all of those for a kind of a European feel. I could even bring in the which tractor is it? The Hurleyman. The larger of the two Hurleymans. I really like the look of that tractor. It's a very pretty looking tractor. Not the most powerful, but pretty versatile. It can have a front loader. It can have care wheels. It can even have wide wheels, although I don't think it can have weighted wheels. But that's a nice sort of low-end tractor. Really beautiful looking tractor. Very pretty. Decent power. About 130, 140 horsepower when it's fully maxed out. And as I said, you know, good options in terms of wheels and with a front loader as well. So it's one I don't get to use that often. So maybe going forward, if we end up doing a European farm, maybe we could look at maybe bringing one of those in. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, mod news. We've had a very busy, busy week about a week or two ago. And it is now, as I record this, it is now Sunday morning. So, later today, the previous episode of American Outback will be going live. This will be going live midweek, I believe. Wednesday, I think it goes live. Maybe Tuesday. I think it's Wednesday. So a couple of weeks ago, from when this episode goes out, we had a very busy week of mods. We had nothing for ages. Absolutely nothing. And everyone's like, ugh, where are all the mods? Blah. And I say absolutely ages. It wasn't that long. It was just over a week. It was a week and a couple of days since we'd had anything, at all. But nothing had been showing up in progress. And as I record this, since that day, nothing has been released. But on that day, we had a whole bunch of updates drop for, various different bits and bobs. Most notably, the Lemken cultivator kit. A few pieces of that all got updated to work better with the ground response mod. We also had a new trailer go live from CD Models, which is a fantastic trailer. Has one slight flaw in the sense that it has no hubcaps on the wheels. It's just a tiny little detail, but other than that, it's a really, really nice tractor. Available trailer. Available in two different configurations. One is a standard grain trailer, and then a second one with a slightly higher capacity and higher sidewalls, which is designed as a silage trailer. Really like that trailer. It's really nicely put together. We had a working toolbox mod. So that works as basically a workshop that you can take wherever you want. So that could be very useful for this map going forward. You know, if we want to get a 747, obviously driving it around on these roads is going to be tricky. We have traffic. That thing is wide with double wheels. Yeah, and you know, just about stays within the total width of the road. With triple wheels, it overlaps the edges of the roads, and anything coming, it's an instant problem. But we can use the mobile toolbox, you know, the mobile workshop, the toolbox mod to basically take duals off, put singles on, drive around, and then use that toolbox wherever we want on the map to then put the duals back on again once we reach our destination, which is really, really cool. I like that. It also means we can do further edits to vehicles as well, so we can change the colour, we can change wheel options, we can change engine configurations, any other little details that we need to. So if we have a truck and we suddenly realise we need to put a back attacher on, if we've got one of those workshop stations nearby, we can go to one of those, or if we have our toolbox handy, we can just go dump and done. So that's a really fun little mod. Only works in single player though, does not work in multiplayer, which bit of a shame, but understandable. Just one of those things. I've got T8 this time. To unfold the plough. And drop that down. There we go. And then we also had Hagenstedt go live as well. The Farming Sim 13 base map. That went live and has some issues. Has a broken sell point. And has a couple of weird graphical glitches. There's a particular spot where a car spawns straight through the wall of a storage shed where you can put vehicles in, which looks a bit daft. And the nuggets, some of the nuggets were a bit unattainable. I mean, you could get them if you did the log trick. You know, if you knew how to do the log trick, you could jump on cut a small piece of wood, use it to basically fly around the map. It takes practice to do that the first time you try and do it, but once you know what you're doing, it's relatively straightforward. And that was the only way you could really get a couple of the nuggets. And since then, 2 days later I think it was, they patched them. Yeah, that map was patched with a fix for the nuggets, but everything else was still broken. Now, as I record this, that patch is 2 days old. So the nuggets are fixed, although one is still in a really, really difficult place, and you still kind of need to do the log trick to get to it. And that's the one at the dairy farm. But everything else hasn't been touched, so the sell point is still broken, and the car still spawns through the side of the wall on the sort of vehicle shed, and the liquid fertilizer refill point at the farm doesn't work either. I think there are a couple of other issues as well. Now, most of those are just kind of little niggling things that aren't really a major issue, but the sell point is kind of a big issue. And my worry, because I was very tempted to do a farm on that, my worry is that when that does get patched, because I'm assuming it's going to get patched, as I said, as I record this, it's only been 2 days. It's now a Sunday, and it's only been 2 days since that map was patched to fix the gold nuggets. So I'm imagining that at some point in the next week or so, there will be a patch to try and fix the sell point and maybe a couple of the other issues as well. But my worry is that because the sell point is quite an integral part of the map, that may require a restart, which is why I haven't really done anything with that map yet since I did my map tour. I may actually potentially transfer a farm over there once that map is fully patched, but until then I'm going to hold off. But since all those mods dropped, we've had nothing, and we've had no updates as well, because Lissatan, the guy who updates the mod thread, has been on holiday. So we don't actually know if anything else is being added into testing, because no one else updates the thread. You know, he's the community manager on the Giants forums, and you know, he took it on himself to create that thread and update it each day. And with him not being in, no one else will do it. It's locked to him. So if he's not there, that thread doesn't get updated. So we don't actually know what's going on at all at the moment in terms of future stuff. The Amazona Pantera is still in testing, so I'm hoping that that's going to come soon, because it'd be quite nice to see that again. Those of us who had Farming Sim 15 on console, we actually got it included in our base game. I know that it was released separately as a I think a free mod for PC users. It wasn't included as part of the default equipment, so it was something they had to download separately. But I enjoyed using that. I mean, you couldn't hire a worker with it. I'm assuming with the new one, you know, the updated FS17 version, we will be able to hire a worker, because we can with the New Holland system. So I would imagine we can do the same with the Pantera when that comes out. But it was a nice model. I quite liked it. I used it on Bjornholm on Farming Sim 15, and I really enjoyed using it. So I'm hoping that that's going to come out soon. It's been in testing for a while because it's an official Giants mod. It's marked as such in the thread, which means that it gets tested all the way through its development. So it's not like a mod that a modder will create and then submit to Giants for testing, and then release. It's something that is being created from scratch, so to speak. It's not like, here's something that I think is finished, please test it, and if it passes testing, release it. It's, here's something that needs to be done, we're going to make it, and we're going to test it all the way through the development phase. And that's why it's taking so long to be released. Because that's been in testing for a couple of weeks at least. And everyone's like, where is the Pantera? Why isn't it out yet? Why isn't it out yet? It's because it's a Giants mod, and Giants put their stuff, when they make a mod, they put it into testing straight away, and they test it all the way through its development. So yeah, they might not even have finished making it yet. It might still be being worked on. But that's why that mod is taking so long to clear testing, because it's official mod from Giants, and they test their stuff all the way through the development phase, not just when they've finished making it. They test it all the way through. How's our worker getting on? Now he's plodding away, look, going up the side of field 19. This job, I think, could potentially take us all the way through to the end of the episode. It's going to be pretty close. I mean, we were given 44 minutes or so on the clock, or 40 something minutes left, and we had less than that available on my timer. But we always get our jobs done quicker than the time limit. So we will get done before the end of the episode, but I have no idea how much time we're going to have left at the end. Probably not a huge amount. And I'm wondering if we're going to get done before our weeder gets done. It might be that the weeder will still be going when we finish this ploughing. We were going to have an episode basically of me just kind of waffling and trying to fill time with interesting little stories, if I can think of any. And and lots of footage of me just driving up and down a field ploughing it. So this again leads into what I was talking about in the last episode. Do you want to see the editing style from my other farms brought across onto American Outback? This is the second of the 2 episodes that I'm sitting down to record tonight. The other one's already gone live a few days ago. And I asked in that one, and I'm asking again now, do you want to see that editing brought across to American Outback? Because it means if we do that sort of editing, then jobs like this, you won't see just an episode of me just driving up and down a field with a plough. You'll see bits of footage of me driving up and down, maybe over 5 to 10 minutes. You know, on a field this size, probably only about 5 minutes worth of footage, unless I have something interesting to say. And then we can move on to another job. Whereas with this style of recording, you get to see everything that happens, unless I state that I'm going to do something between episodes off camera. But it means that progress is a lot slower. So it's up to you guys. You know, I'm going to read your comments and listen to your feedback from the last episode and this episode. And I'm quite happy to stick with this style of recording if you want to see this style of recording. If you would prefer that we make the switch to the edited footage, which means we'll see more action on the farm, then I'm more happy to do that as well. Yeah, more than happy to do that as well. It means more work for me, because I have to record for longer and edit the footage together for each episode. But I have absolutely no problems doing that, because we'll make good progress on the farm. So, you know, I get into a rhythm when I start recording, and I want to do a lot of stuff. And sometimes when, you know, you're only sitting down to record a couple of episodes, you get into a rhythm. It's like, okay, I really want to carry on, but I can't, because I've got to wait for a few days before I can start recording the next couple of episodes. Whereas if we do editing, I can play for hours and then edit that down into a couple of episodes. So 3 or 4 hours worth of recording, or 3 or 4 hours worth of playing, can get turned into 2 45-minute episodes, as opposed to an hour and a half's worth of playing gets turned into 2 45-minute episodes. I get to play more. I have to work a bit harder at the end to put the videos together, but I don't mind doing that for you guys. And we get to make some more progress on the farm. You know, so we get to advance faster. We get to buy in new equipment, new tools, new fields. And you get a nice variety of content in each episode, rather than just one job taking up the entire episode like this. So yeah, the comments from last episode and the comments from this episode will help me decide how to take the farm forward. So please do, you know, let me know in the down below area. Feed my comment section with your feedback, and we will either stay with this style of recording, or we will move to edited. To my immense disappointment, it appears that so far the Big Bud DLC equipment has not been coded for contract work. So I have on Mustang Valley, at least as far as ploughing goes, tried to use the YP, not the YP2425, that's the Cedar, the Gregoire Bessel SPSL9. That's the 10.5 metre plough. I've tried to use that in a ploughing job, and it just won't work. You know, field 1 is a big field. It's like 30 hectares. It's 3 times the size of field 19. That's right, field 18 on this map. So it's a big old field, and wouldn't let me use it. Wouldn't let me select that particular piece of equipment. So it's a real shame that the DLC has not been included, because the Coon DLC can be used in contract missions, and mods can be used in contract missions. Well, some mods can be used in contract missions. Depends on the mod, depends on the mission. But unfortunately, at the moment, the Big Bud DLC cannot be included in contract missions. It's a bit of a shame, because imagine how much quicker we could do this field if we had a 10.5 meter plough as opposed to a 6.2 meter plough like we're using. We could get through this field so much faster. And if the plough doesn't work, it kind of makes me think that the cultivators and the seeders aren't going to work as well. Now, I can understand the air cart system not being available, but the Great Plains YP2425A would be a great seeder to be available in a contract mission. It's an 18 meter seeder, 18.2 meters to be precise. And it plants everything, that we would need for a contract job, except spuds. It'll plant our regular grains, it'll plant our root crops, it'll plant our beets. It'll do all of that. So if we were able to select that as a choice of equipment, that would be amazing. And the horsepower requirements aren't that bad either. It gives us loads of options with vehicles, because it only needs 280 horsepower off the top of my head. So maybe we'll see it pop up. I haven't tried to do a seeding job on a contract mission yet. Maybe it will pop up in the list of equipment, but I somehow doubt it. And again, I can understand maybe the cultivators not popping up, because you're talking 500 horsepower for those. And I think the biggest tractor I've ever had on a contract mission is the Case Magnum, which is 400 and something. So, because it always gives you the default engine option. It never gives you the maxed out version. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious as to whether that will be changed, because I think for Mustang Valley, some of those jobs are horrendously long. If you haven't already been checking out my Big Bud Farm series, recently, at the end of episode 6, I decided I was going to harvest field 4 to raise some extra money. And I got offered 286,000, I think it was, off the top of my head, if that sounds about right, 286,000. That's how much I got offered to actually harvest the field. And I thought, great, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. That was a long job. 7.5 hours of harvesting. 7.5 hours. And I ran out of fuel as well. With about an hour to go, I ran out of fuel. I was able to refill and get the job going again, but it was squeaky bum time for a moment there, and I did do a separate video, Big Bud Farm episode 6 extra, which shows a bit of footage from that harvesting mission. Right before I ran out of fuel, it's about 10-15 minutes worth of footage of me trying to resolve the job, and then showing the completion of the job and the payout, including time bonus, which was pretty hefty. So that's another video you could check out. It was, as I say, very squeaky bum time. I thought I was going to have lost 6.5 hours worth of work, and I came close to losing it on a couple of occasions, but I managed to save it. and keep the job going. I'm not going to tell you exactly how I did it, but the video is there, so if you are curious, do go check that one out. And don't forget to check out the rest of the series, for that matter. It is progressing very nicely on Big Bud Farm. We are gearing up towards yet another harvest. We have a nice little wood chipping operation about to come to fruition. And with some more contract work, we shouldn't be more than a few episodes away, hopefully. If we get a great demand, we should be in a position where we'll be able to consider buying field 1 and adding a really big field to our repertoire on that farm. So do check out that series. It's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun playing on that farm so far. And we are doing that as a legitimately tough farm. It's on hard, no money cheats, no money box mod because it doesn't work on hard anyway. No sell glitches to try and raise extra cash. Because even though that was patched by Giants, it still seems to work on some of the mod maps. I've never done that, and I have no intention of doing that. I'm playing Mustang Valley as a legitimate playthrough for all the naysayers out there who say that it's too hard to do on your own. And while I have had a buddy of mine help out for a couple of episodes, the majority of that series is going to be solo. There will be occasions when someone will jump in and help out for an episode or two, but as I said, the majority of that farm is going to be a solo farm. And everyone out there says it can't be done. I intend to prove otherwise. And don't forget, as a console player, we don't have GPS, we don't have follow me, we don't have course play, we don't have any of those things. We have a DualShock, and that's it. So do check out that series. It's proven to be very, very popular, and I'm having an awful lot of fun with it. Right, let's check in on our worker. So he's about halfway through the field. He's slap bang in the middle, width-wise, and he's about halfway down the field as well. So yeah, he's pretty much bang on halfway through that field. And we are about 2/3 of the way through this field, so we should be done before he is at this rate. Looking at the clock, we have maybe about 15 minutes or so left of time left on the episode, and 22 minutes and change on the clock. But we'll get done before that time runs out, so we will have just a few minutes left, I think, maybe at the end of the episode. Maybe literally 1 or 2 minutes. I'm trying to think what else has been going on with the channel recently. Tomb Raider is going quite well. I'm having a lot of fun playing that. It's a stunning game. Absolutely beautiful. Love the visuals, love the gameplay. And the side mission I took on with Baba Yaga turned out to be a lot more detailed and in-depth than I thought it would be. I thought it would be just a little small side mission like clearing out the wolf den that we did in episode 6 before we went and started facing Baba Yaga. That actually ended up taking 2 or 3 episodes to get done. Really quite a big side quest. So having a lot of fun with that. If you do fancy watching something a little bit different from farming, then that is a great choice there to watch Tomb Raider. I've been having some fun on No Man's Sky as well. Now that we're starting to edit No Man's Sky as well to cut out some of the just wandering around looking for resources, we're starting to get more action into that series as well to make for better viewing. And I came across this style of ship that I've always wanted, which is the Firefly, themed ship. The one that looks like a Firefly class. And I saw two, saw two separate ones within the space of a few minutes of each other. And I really want one of those ships. I know there are going to be bigger and better ships out there, but at some point I would love to own one of those mock Firefly class ships. I really would. Simply because I have so much love for that TV series. There's been a lot of talk over the years about trying to revive Firefly and bring it back, and it's too late now. I think bringing it back now, after so long, would be a bit tricky in some cases. I mean, they killed off Alan Tudyk. They killed off Wash when they did the Serenity movie. A lot of the actors have all moved on to other things, and I'm sure while most of them, would consider going back to it, it might not necessarily be possible with other work commitments. They killed off Ron Shepard as well. Shepard Book, Ron Glass. They killed him off as well in the movie. I just don't think it would be workable going back now. It's been too long as well. I think the weight of expectation from the fans would be overwhelming, and I think it would, think of the hype with No Man's Sky. There was so much hype for that game, and then it finally came out after all that time and all that publicity, and it just failed miserably to live up to expectations. And I think that would be what would happen if they if they went back and they actually relaunched Firefly. I think it would fail under the weight of expectation, and I don't think it would matter how good it is. It wouldn't be as good as the original. It just wouldn't, with those characters missing, with no Shepard Book and no Wash, and I'm sure they killed someone else off as well. It just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't work, I don't think, and I think it would literally be crushed under the weight of expectation. Which is sad to say, but I think it's fair to say. So, my long-held dream of Firefly coming back, I'm quite happy to let that one go now. Such a great show, it should never have been cancelled in the first place. But by the same token, it holds such a special place in people's hearts because it was a great show that got cancelled way before its time. I mean, they only did 9 episodes before it got cancelled, I think. Or was it 10? I know there was 14 in the season, and maybe it was 11 they showed. It was either 9, 10 or 11 that they actually broadcast before they just cancelled the series. They didn't, Fox never gave it a fair shake. They even, broadcast a few episodes out of sequence. And it never got the backing it should have got. So when it didn't hit the numbers that Fox wanted, they just pulled the plug instantly. And consigned one of sci-fi's greatest shows to the cutting room floor, and it's such a shame. And it took a lot of fan pressure to finally get the DVD box set of the entire season released. And then fan pressure and fan funding also helped then get the movie Serenity released to kind of try and close the story off. But there were plans for, I think, 3 seasons of Firefly. I think that's what Joss was saying, that he had plans for 2 more seasons before his storyline would be done. And he had to try and condense 2 seasons worth of story into 2 hours. And it was a good movie, but it felt too short. It was a shame that, you know, it couldn't get the proper send-off that it really, truly deserved. But I think it holds such a special place in people's heart because it was that good and it got cancelled so soon. I don't know... my throat's really playing up today. I don't know if that show would have had the legacy that it has now if it had run for another season or 2. And I think part of the reason it is so, you know, gained such cult status is because it was cancelled. Maybe that show wouldn't have hit that level of extreme popularity and extreme loyalty if it hadn't been cancelled. If it had been allowed to run, would it have hit the same heights, you know, as it did? Because people would start to get into it and then it was gone. Just like that. You know, people were really getting into it and they were starting to really fall for the characters and believe in the storyline and believe in the characters, and then boom, just gone, disappeared. Now, if they'd been able to see the evolution of those characters and the unfolding of the story further, it wouldn't be so fresh in their minds and their hearts. You know, it would be more established and they would, you know, enjoy it. But would they have that same... Think of a relationship. This is, I think, the most appropriate analogy. When you're in a relationship, those first, you know, weeks and months of a new relationship are powerful. You know, your emotions are really raw and, you know, you're wildly head over heels for the person that you're with. And then take that relationship and move it down the line a couple of years and you're still, you know, madly, deeply, whatever, with whoever. But it's a much different intensity. You've moved from that new relationship to that settled relationship. And it's just not the same. It's a different experience. And I think that analogy works really well with Firefly and people's love of Firefly, because it was in that new relationship feel. It was in that stage, and then it got ripped away from us. So because we still had this blossoming relationship with this TV show that was then wrenched away from us, it created this huge backlash from the fans and this huge longing to see it brought back. I don't know if that would still be there if we'd gone through that stage into the settled, regular audience stage. It's one to think about. What do you think? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Are you a fan of Firefly? Do you agree with my hypothesis that maybe it wouldn't have had that same devotion from its fans had it run for another couple of seasons before it got cancelled? Maybe I'm overthinking things. Feel free to let me know if that's the case. You know, stick your answers below in the comment section. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about that, because I mean, I love that show. I absolutely love it. Over here in the UK, we didn't see it. It was never broadcast here in the UK. First I saw of it was a friend of mine had got a DVD box set of it, and had a couple of friends over and was just watching it downstairs, and I'd been upstairs gaming and came down to get a drink out the fridge and saw it and was like, what's this? Oh, it's Firefly. And I grabbed the DVD case, had a look at it, and had a quick flip through the episode thing just to get a bit more information about the show. And I sat and watched it for about 10-15 minutes, and Before you know it, 10-15 minutes became 3 or 4 different episodes back to back, and then there was a disc change, and then more episodes, and I absolutely fell for it, head over heels, on the spot. I loved it. Fantastic show. Great casting, great writing, great acting. Everything just fit. And so I bought my own copy of the DVD box set, and I've watched it many, many times. And even though I owned the DVD box set when it popped up on the UK Netflix, I immediately added it to my watch list and sat and watched all 13 or 14 episodes back to back on Netflix. Did a little Netflix marathon and watched the entire series in one sitting. I've got huge love for that show. I really do. And I have Serenity on Blu-ray as well. I went to the cinema to watch it, and then bought it on Blu-ray when it came out on Blu-ray. Right, so we're done. We've earned just under 21 grand for that. That's nice. How is our worker getting on? He's still got a little bit left of the field to go. Where is the point here? What's our status looking like on this field now? Not great. We've dropped it down maybe 8,000. And I think all we're going to get is the all-rounder or something smaller. I don't think, again, it's going to offer us a big bud cultivator. Yeah, see, the all-rounder is the biggest of the base game cultivators at 14.5 metres. Everything else is smaller. The Lemkin is, 12.5 metres, something like that. The Horsch is, I think, 10 metres, 11 metres. It's not going to give us any of the DLC. That's a shame, but I kind of expected it, so... We will leave it there then. That is the end of this episode, so don't forget, let me know in the comment section, do you want to see an edited style of broadcasting for this series going forward, or do you want to stick with this style of broadcasting? Please do let me know in the comments. And you can check out my other farms to see what they look like with that edited style. Fent Farm has got an episode out like that. Massey Manor has an episode out like that. They're the two most recent episodes for those series. Big Bud Farm is entirely edited. So you can watch any of those episodes, or watch all of them. Hint, hint. Please do watch all of my videos. That would be fantastic. But yeah, let me know what you would like to see with this farm going forward. Do you want to stick with what we've got? Do you want to start editing going forward and cramming more progress into each episode? I'll read your comments from this episode and the previous one, and we'll make a decision before we get round to recording the next couple of episodes. Don't forget, you can also check out my Tomb Raider playlist. Flame of the Flood is going as well. I am going to be doing Journey very, very soon. That's a very short little game. I've recorded that and I've had a lot of fun with that. It's a fantastic little game. I'll be popping that up, probably in its entirety, broken into parts, and then just put the whole thing live. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be going up very soon, if it's not out already. And don't forget, obviously, to tune back in for the next episode of American Outback. So thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on the farm very soon.